What is going on YouTube? It's been a while since I said I was going to make this guide, but I finally got around to making it. After creating the builds for it, I found ways to make it even more efficient, so I guess it's better that I waited. Anyways, if you're new to my channel and you're interested in builds, guides, and gameplay, then don't hesitate to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Alright, now let's get straight into this because this guide is going to be concise and straight to the point. As you all know, there are tons of guides on YouTube about the way to complete the Incursion, Paradise Lost. But for those of you who aren't comfortable with playing straight up DPS or just want to play a different way, here's a fun and effective way to doing it. You can one phase Wright, and the Lovebirds fight is beautiful. Plus, the beginning part is a breeze. Anyways, let me explain to you step by step how to do this, and it's going to be very easy to follow. I'll even include the links to the exact builds I used in each encounter. So first things first, the builds that we use to deal with adds and just have a sustained amount of DPS for the fights in general is this build right here. If you're not using something specialized to take out the turrets or anything like that, this is the build you want to use. In a nutshell, this is how it looks. You want to roll skill damage and crit damage so that you can sustain the right amount of crit and skill damage for your skills, your drone and turret. With glass cannon for your chest piece talent and vigilance for your backpack talent, or combined arms, you'll be able to deal the damage that you need to get through any area in this Paradise Lost Incursion. Now, there is one person in the group that's going to want to use this build, which utilizes the oxidizer in order to take out the turrets. It's by far the safest way to do it. You don't even have to proceed ahead. Just make sure you take care of the sniper, and after the turrets are down, then you can proceed forward after killing all of the rest of the adds. This is the spot right here where you want to stand in order to get a good vantage point that'll allow you to take out the turrets with the oxidizer. If you do this right, this whole entire area can take about a couple minutes, if that. So as you proceed to the next area is the infamous tanker fight. Here you're going to have to make sure that the adds don't blow up the tanker, specifically the chungas that hold the miniguns. They don't even aim at you, they just aim straight at the tanker. So in the midst of this fight, there are going to be snipers, there are going to be shield rushers, there are going to be regular adds that run at you and try to take you out. So this is basically a DPS check, which means that you'll need the builds that I spoke of before. And the reason why I have Providence and Grupo, gear pieces that allow for you to have native crit bonuses so that you can get the amount that you need to reach that crit damage threshold that allows you to deal the insane damage that you see. With this build, I'm getting over 200% crit damage and a maximum amount of 60% crit chance. It's a beauty. And the weapon I'm using is a capacitor. This does two things. It helps with your skill damage because when you shoot enemies, it builds up to a 60% amount of skill damage that is attributed to your skills, which are the drone and the turret. These help immensely with the chungas, especially when the drones come out, the enemy drones. After a certain amount of time, you have these super OP drones that spawn, and if you don't deal with them quick enough, then they're going to take you out. Okay, so it also helps that your healer overcharges your skills. So as soon as those drones are about to come out, make sure he overcharges your skills. You get an insanely hard hitting drone and turret along with your capacitor. And that's just basically what this fight is about. You make sure you have enough DPS and sustain to take care of these adds. Once you kill everyone you need, then you're good to go. But make sure you watch out for the boss that comes out the door when you try and proceed to the next area. He aims immediately at the tanker, and if the tanker's health is too low, then it'll just blow up. You have no chance. But you shouldn't worry about it. You see how the health is right now on a tanker in this playthrough. I suggest that one of you just jump through and shoot him from behind so you can take him out quickly as possible. Now, on to the next area. And these are pretty much the two builds that you're going to use throughout the whole incursion. But there is one I want to specify in the Lovebirds fight, because when we first did it, we had to wipe a few times in order to really figure out the best way to do it. Even still, I think there's a better way. So you won't have to switch builds back and forth. And the reason why I'm not telling you about this build is because this is the way that we did it. And I think if you farm for this type of build, then you should be fine. Later on, maybe in a couple days, I'm going to reveal the ultimate build that you need. It's actually the new iteration to the series of King builds that I make. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, on to the Wright fight. If you guys don't know what this is about, the strategy for this is that you have to make sure that you lure Wright, the boss, into one of these areas, either the dance floor, the lounge, the bar. Depending on which light is green is what's available. When it first starts out, all the lights are green, so you can choose which strategy you want to begin with. As soon as he starts banging on the wall, you know that he's going to come out. When he comes out, that's when the ads spawn, and you don't want to lure him in the sprinklers while the ads are here. And if you do this efficiently enough, you can do this in 3 phases. This means that you're going to need to make sure you get 1 phase each time he's doused. And with this build, you have enough damage. Even though you're wearing glass cannon, that blast that he does, it doesn't even kill you. So as long as you have a healer, you're good to go. I suggest that you make sure the healer is the one kiting the boss at all times, and the people using the skill DPS builds just take care of ads throughout rounds. So once you douse him twice, you get 2 damage phases, and he's on the 3rd and final damage phase. There's an area where he came out from in the corner next to the ammo box where you should congregate, so that you won't be susceptible to getting hit by that chunga that comes out in the corner. And plus, you'll all be bundled together and safe. Once you finally douse him, all together use your skills and DPS to take him out. Oh yeah, don't forget to use Sledgehammer, and if you want, you can use Bloody Knuckles, but it's up to you. Sledgehammer is plenty enough. Now, finally, as you head to the Lovebirds fight, this was a bit tricky because there's a specific build that we were using, Contractor's Gloves, Fox's Prayer knee pads, for the multiplicative damage bonuses that they offer. These apply to the Oxidizer, which is why it's so strong. Well, I think a small issue that we encountered was being able to deal damage to the ads that come up before we try and destroy the kid, then take out the Lovebirds. But if you have a build with a capacitor, with Fox's Prayer and Contractors, along with some gear that has crit based values like Providence and 𝐦𝐨𝐫𝐞 and 𝐵𝒂𝒄, then you can actually make a really good hybrid to combine these two so that you won't have to worry about, okay, what weapon or what build am I going to use to kill the ads before the Lovebirds? The damage is going to be there, and when I think about it, I've made tons of builds like this that utilize damage with your capacitor, which in turn translates to damage with the Oxidizer. And if you look at the full playthrough that we did, it's up on YouTube, by the way. We used a strategy wherein utilizing the chatterbox's reload, it applies to the fire rate of the Oxidizer once you switch to it after reloading. And let's say there's like 7 or 8 enemies, then you get an insane amount of rate of fire for the chatterbox. But if you switch to your Oxidizer after reloading with the chatterbox, that buff applies to the rate of fire for the Oxidizer. And as you can see, I was able to spam these Oxidizer shots as fast as I could so that the damage could be applied insanely fast. But upon more testing and other people doing this, like Redline 718 Gaming, they tried this numerous times. They didn't even use the chatterbox. They just went up there and they actually used, I think, kinetic momentum and some other stuff. But it turns out that the rate of fire doesn't even really matter in this regard. As long as you take the kid out and all of you are consistent with shooting your Oxidizer clouds on the ground, the Lovebirds will be taken out in no time. Plus, with the fact that you're hitting them with the capacitor, you should be fine. And that's the strategy I use. So if you want to use a build that's specifically for the Oxidizer to do the Lovebirds fight, you can, but you'll have a little bit of a hard time trying to kill the ads before going at the Lovebirds. What I suggest is using something like Providence chest piece with glass cannon, along with the 𝒉𝒂𝒄 mask and a 𝐦𝐭 holster to get that crit for the capacitor side. And for the Oxidizer side, make sure you have Contractors and Fox's Prayer and the combined arms backpack. This is a perfect setup for you to be able to deal damage with your capacitor. And when it's time to kill the Lovebirds, then you go ahead and do that too with the Oxidizer. Like I said, I'm going to come out with a certified build specifically for that, but in a nutshell, that is the guide, folks. And it's really fun. You feel like you have support with the drone and turret, and it's just nice to play something other than what everybody else is playing. And that'll do it for this guide. Let me know what you think about this down below. If you have any other ways to play, I welcome your suggestions and your criticisms. I appreciate you stopping by, and if this helped you out in any way, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to my channel if you're new here. I'll see you in the next one, fam. Be right out.